Hare Krishna Satyasara Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Satyarupa Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna devotees, thank you all for joining. So we have a very, very wonderful speaker today, Her Grace Rasamai LakshmiPriya Mataji. I mean, every time, I say this, but it is for our own purification. So she is such a humble Vaishnavi, very kind, very, very sincere devotee. Mataji does a lot of services from the background for our temple. To name some, she does a festival coordination, the big festivals for the temple. She coordinates along with Neha Mataji, such as Janmashtami, Gaura Purnima, and so on. And she also teaches a sloka for the kids. There are 2 or 3 batches of kids. Now they learn Bhagavad Gita slokas from her, and she never says no to any service. Very qualified Vaishnavi, but she never shows off. Shows a spiritual qualification also. Very, very surrendered to Guru and Krishna. So with that, let's welcome Rasamai Mataji by loudly chanting Hare Krishna mantra one time. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Rasamai Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you very much for your kind words, even though I'm not qualified to. And also thank you very much for giving me this opportunity for giving the Sunday Feast lecture. We'll start with Jai Radha Madhava. Samanvita will sing. Today we are going to discuss 14th sloka from the 9th chapter. Let's share. Okay. So we're sharing the screen. Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. I'll recite the sloka now. Satatam Kirtayanto Mam Yatantascha Dridavratah Namashyantascha Mam Bhaktyam Nityayukta upasate. Satatam kirtayanto mam yatantascha dridavrataham namasyantascha mam bhaktya nityayukta upasate. Satatam kirtayanto mam yatantascha dridavrataham namasyantascha mam bhaktya nityayukta upasate. Devotees, if you want to chant, you can do it.
I can chant.
Please, Prabhu.
Satatam kirtayanto mam yatantascha dridavratah namasyantascha mam bhaktya nityayukta upasate.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
I can do, Mataji.
Please, Mataji, do it.
Satatam kirtayanto mam yatantascha dritavratah namasyantascha mam bhaktya nitya yukta upasate.
Thank you, Mataji.
Can I try, Mataji?
Please, Mataji, do it.
Kirtayanto mam yadantascha dridavratah namasyantascha mam bhaktya nityayukta upasate.
Thank you, Mataji. Okay. Now let us read word to word meanings. Satatam, always. Kirtayantaha, chanting. Mam, about me. Yatantaha, fully endeavoring. Cha, also. Dridhavrataha, with determination. Namashyantaha, offering. Obeisances. Cha, and. Mam, me. Bhaktya, in devotion. Nitya yuktaha, perpetually engaged. Upasate, worship. The translation: always chanting my glories, endeavoring with great determination, bowing down before me, these great souls perpetually worship me with devotion. The Mahatma cannot be manufactured by rubber stamping an ordinary man. His symptoms are described here. A Mahatma is always engaged in chanting the glories of the Supreme Lord Krishna, the personality of Godhead. He has no other business. He is always engaged in the glorification of the Lord. In other words, he is not an impersonalist. When the question of glorification is there, one has to glorify the Supreme Lord, praising his holy name, his eternal form, his transcendental qualities, and his uncommon pastimes. One has to glorify all these things. Therefore, a Mahatma is attached to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One who is attached to the impersonal feature of the Supreme Lord, the Brahma Jyoti, is not described as Mahatma in the Bhagavad Gita. He is described in a different way in the next verse. The Mahatma is always engaged in different activities of the devotional service as described in the Srimad Bhagavatam, hearing and chanting about Vishnu, not a demigod or a human being. That is devotion. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, and Smaranam, remembering him. Such a Mahatma has a firm determination to achieve at the ultimate end the association of the Supreme Lord in any one of the 5 transcendental rasas. To achieve that success, he engages all his activities, mental, bodily, and vocal, everything, in the service of the Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna. That is called full Krishna consciousness. In devotional service, there are certain activities which are called determined, such as fasting on certain days, like the 11th day of the moon, Ekadashi, and on the appearance day of the Lord. All these rules and regulations are offered by the great acharyas for those who are actually interested in getting the admission into the association of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the transcendental world. The Mahatmas, the great souls, strictly observe all these rules and regulations, and therefore they're sure to achieve the desired result. As described in the second verse of this chapter, not only is the devotional service easy, but it can be performed in a happy mood. One does not need to undergo any severe penance and austerity. He can live this life in devotional service, guided by an expert spiritual master, and in any position, either as a householder or a sannyasi or a brahmachari, in any position and anywhere in the world. he can perform this devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead and thus become actually Mahatma, a great soul. So, I'll offer my prayers to the spiritual masters. Mukam karoti vachalam pangam langayate girim yat kripatamaham vande Shri Guru Dina Taranam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Hari Om. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Jayapataka Swami Tinamani Namacharya Pradaya Nitai Krupa Pradaya Gaura Katha Damataya Nagar Gramatarane Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Itinamani Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desadarne Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. This verse is from the 9th chapter. The 9th chapter is entitled as the most confidential knowledge. This is most confidential, Guhyatamam, because this describes the majestic aspect of Krishna, the Aishwarya feature of Krishna, and the excellence of a pure devotee. This chapter is called Guhyatamam because it cannot be understood by anyone. Like it cannot be understood by the people who are envious and selfish of Krishna. Krishna explains that non-envious people Krishna explains that the non-envious people, Anasuya and faith, Shraddha, are the real qualification to receive the knowledge, jnanam of the pure devotee. So since Arjuna is not selfish or envious and did not see any faults in Krishna, he can understand this knowledge. That's why Krishna has given this knowledge to Arjuna. Envious and selfish people cannot understand Krishna or the knowledge of this devotional service. So this verse is very special because this gives the qualities of the great soul, a Mahatma devotee. So the soul is equal in every living entity, but it is covered by the material energy. And as the covering is moved by the enlightenment of the knowledge, the purity of consciousness will be there. So the Mahatma devotees, the great souls, they are under the protection of the divine spiritual nature, but not by the material energy. So every one of us can become a great soul by enlightenment of the knowledge. So little by little, and ultimately we can become the great souls. Just like flower in the beginning, it will be like a bud stage. Then usually it fructifies and then becomes a new nice flower, a beautiful nice flower. So is the person who comes in contact with the Krishna consciousness. He is compared with a little flower. Slowly he'll start his devotional service and then association of the devotees, doing service at the temple, and then chanting. Finally, he'll become a nice flower, pure devotee of the Supreme Lord. So this opportunity to become Mahatma is equal to every one of us. And if we can take this advantage, especially in this human form of life, then we are all eligible to become a great devotee or a great soul. So till now, we were saying we have to become a great soul, but what is the qualification of the great soul? The qualification of the great soul is described here in this verse 9.14, that our great soul is always engaged in chanting the holy name for 24 hours a day and glorifying the Supreme Lord. So the breakup of this sloka is Satatam Kirtayanto Mam, always chanting my glories. Yatantascha Dhridavrataha, endeavoring with great determination. Namashyantascha Mam Bhaktya, bowing down before me with devotion. Nitya Yukta Upasate, these devotees worship me eternal. It's not like 1 day, 2 days, 1 week or 2 days, 1 year. It is eternal. So a great soul, a Mahatma, is someone who always glorify the Supreme Lord. So this, we should look for this symptom. if we want to understand who is a great soul. So our material situation is not even bothered. Like whether we are a grihastha, whether we are young, old, it doesn't matter. We can perform this devotional service. The great soul will do this, use his body, mind, and words to serve Krishna. So now, what is Kirtana? The Sanskrit word Kirtan is Kirtayati. Kirtayati means glorifying. So whom to glorify? We have to glorify the Supreme Personality of the Godhead. So the Kirtanam, the private chanting, which we do the japa of the holy name, is Kirtanam. Also writing something about the Supreme Lord is also Kirtanam. Congregational chanting is Kirtanam. Singing the holy name accompanied by musical instruments, we do Kirtanam. That is also Kirtanam. So Bhagavad Gita, reading of Bhagavad Gita is not Kirtanam. Everything, whatever glorify the Supreme Lord, whatever talk about the Supreme Lord, whatever we write about the Supreme Lord, it's Kirtana. So especially another important aspect of Kirtana is Sankirtana's distribution of the books. Any activity that promotes the glorification of Lord Sri Krishna is Kirtanam, and especially the distribution of books about Krishna consciousness is an important aspect of Kirtanam. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Prabhupada's spiritual master, says printing press as a big drum, because a drum played in Sankirtana during the singing of Sankirtana may be heard a block or two, but the printing press can spread the sound of Sankirtana around the world. So anywhere we glorify the Lord, in any way we glorify the Lord, the Supreme Lord is a Kirtana. Not that we glorify a single person or a friend or a relative, then that is not called Kirtana. Kirtana is defined as in the Shastras as Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu. We have to hear and chant about the Supreme Lord. If we use some musical instruments and sing about our friends or leaders or someone, it will not become a Kirtana. So the Lord says straightly here, Satatam Kirtayanto Mam, me. Lord says, one who is glorifying me is a great devotee, great soul, Mahatma. Maybe sometimes we'll be misled, like if we think of, we imagine something and we glorify something. We think that it is the glorification of the Lord. No, when we glorify the Lord's form, name, and the glories, that becomes pastimes, that becomes a Kirtana. So we have to glorify the Lord, listen to the glorification, sing the glorification. So Prahlad Maharaj says the 9 process of devotional service. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Pada Sevanam. Hearing and chanting about the transcendental holy name, form, paraphernalia, and pastimes of Lord Vishnu, remembering him, serving the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, offering respectful worship with 16 types of paraphernalia, offering prayer to the Lord, becoming his servant, considering the Supreme Lord as one's best friend, and surrendering everything unto him. In other words, serving him with body, mind, and words. These 9 processes are accepted as a pure devotional service. So one who has dedicated his life to the service of Krishna, we can see him performing all these 9 kinds of devotional service. So the one who followed this process is a great soul. In purport, it is told that the one who wanted to enter into the transcendental spiritual world, we have to follow certain rules and regulations, like fasting on Ekadashis, fasting on the appearance day of the Lord, singing the glories of the Supreme Lord. So somehow we are put into this material world because we are like less percent or more percent, we are envious of the Supreme Lord. So that's why we were put in this Dukkhalayam Ashashvatam. But the Mahatma devotees, the great souls, they were not put in the Sukhalayam. They have been sent here to reclaim the fallen souls like us to back to Godhead. So the great souls, the Mahatma devotees' whole time business is to chant and think about like how to get this fallen souls back to Godhead. So the example, Prabhupada gives the example of a jailer and the prisoners. So prisoners are also in the jail and jailer is also in the same place. But the prisoners are for punishment. They're condemned. But the jailers are not condemned. They are there to take care of the prisoners. The same way, Mahatma devotees, they are not here because of their material desire, but they are here to reclaim all of us and take back to the Godhead. So that's why his mission is always preaching the glories of the Supreme Lord. And with a great Dridavrataha, they will, with great determination, they don't do, okay, one day I'm doing it, tomorrow that's okay. They don't do that. This is forever eternal. So Namashyantash, Yatantascha, with a proper plan, with an endeavor. So just like the politicians, they make the plans like how to execute successfully his mission to get elected in his as a leader or to rule the country or rule the state or some way. Similarly, the great souls who come to glorify the Lord, they will also have a different plan. Their only plan is to make all the devotees pure devotees and send back to God to go back to Godhead. And also they'll think, how can I tell that they will accept Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Their focus is only one. They are single pointed for their focus is only one point, that is serving the Supreme Lord without any motto of their personal benefits other than making the other devotees go back to Godhead. So it is listed and stated in Bhagavad Gita, 2nd chapter, 41 verse, like Vyavasayatmika buddhihi yekeha kurunandana bahushyaka hyanantascha buddhayo vyavasayinam. The translation of this verse is, those who are in this path are resolute in purpose and their aim is one. O beloved child of the Kurus, the intelligence of those who are irresolute is many branched. So the great Mahatma souls, their purpose, aim, everything is one. They're very determined, as like this sloka in 2.41. So a strong faith that Krishna consciousness will be elevated is to get the highest perfection of life. The faith, Shraddha, should be there to go forward in this path. Shraddha. So example, like Arjuna, he has a great determination and learned all the archery from Dronacharya and mastered. So when his teacher asked him, like, what are you able to see? He did not about the bird scene. What did you see? He did not say that I see the tree or I see left or right. He just said that he could see only the bird's eye. So that is the single pointed attention. So just like Lord Chaitanya, he appeared on this material world to give this transcendental message to all the people. He has made so many plans with great endeavor. He is just, at the time of sannyasa, he was just 24 years of old. And he has a young wife, not more than 16 years old. And his mom was also more than 75 years old. But that didn't stop him. He took sannyasa and distributed this holy name and established the Sankirtan movement. Because of him, every part of India, they're chanting the Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, recent Mahatmas, like the devotee Prabhupada, dear Prabhupada has come to USA at the age of 70. He did not even consider his old days. He just came here, and because of his mercy, even though we are out of India, we are chanting this holy name. Our kids are getting the Vedic education, and the kids are participating in Sankirtan movement. They're chanting, singing the holy name with the help of the instruments. So that is the impact of the great souls. So now this is what the great soul will do, but how they will do with Dhridavrataha. They'll take a vow, nothing else. They just wanted to do the Kirtan performance without any other purpose. Anyabhilashita sunyam jnana karma dhyanagritam. Bhakti means there's no purpose of material gain. Without any material gain, without their personal motto, they just perform this Kirtana with Dhridavrata. When a first class devotee performs a service without, devoid of all the material desires and knowledge acquired through the spiritual masters, without fruitive action, these kind of devotees, they constantly serve Krishna favorably, as how Krishna desires, not how they desire. So also, they're not covered by the speculative process and the fruitive activities. Anukulyena Krishna Anusilanam, favorably as Krishna wanted to please Krishna. So this is called bhakti, not without any purpose. So the Lord says in the next sloka that jnana yagnena chapyanye yajanto mam upasate ekatvena pritatvena bahuda vishvato mukham. He's saying, other than the devotees, as others, anye, others who are engaged in the cultivation of knowledge, worship the Supreme Lord as the one without a second, diverse in many ways and in the universal form. So in according to 9.14, but these kind, the devotees, what they'll do, namasyantasya mam bhaktya, they will always worship me with devotion, not any other purpose. So a pure devotee offers his respect to the Supreme Lord without any purpose, but knowing that the Supreme Lord is great. I'm his eternal servitor with a purpose. With this purpose, he offers with love. This is the Suddha Bhaktas. Similarly, when the Lord also reciprocates the love of these devotees more than anyone. There is a reciprocation of transcendental love. The pure devotee also takes pleasure in glorifying the Lord and also takes pleasure in thinking of his form, qualities, and pastimes. Similarly, the Lord also takes pleasure thinking of his devotee. So that is the relationship between the Bhagavan and Bhaktya. And the next line says, Nitya Yukta. Nitya Yukta, it is like forever, eternal. The devotional service, the Kirtanam, will not stop just for 2 weeks or 1 week or 1 year or 2 years, like that. It will continue forever. That devotion, it is not because they don't have a purpose. Like the Mahatma devotees, they don't keep a purpose to chant. Because there is no purpose, personal purpose of material gains or something else, this Kirtana is eternal, Nitya Yuktam. And this process of worship, to worship the Lord out of love, is not at any it is not broken at any stage. Even after their death, it continues. Because every soul is eternal, every living entity is eternal. We are eternal. So after getting out of this body also, this devotional service exists. Nahanyate hanyamane sharire. In Bhagavad Gita, 2nd chapter, 20th sloka says that. Nachayate mriyate va kadachit nayam bhutva bhavita vana bhuyaha ajo nitya shashvatoyam puranaha nahanyate hanyamane sharire. For the soul, there is never birth nor death, nor once have been, nor does he ever cease to be. He is unborn, eternal, everlasting. undying and primeval. He is not slain when the body is slain. So due to the destruction, annihilation of this material body, the soul is not destroyed. Like this, it may enter into another body in the material world, or it may reach the spiritual world where there's no change of bodies. So this part of devotional service is existing forever, either in this material world or in the spiritual world. So as soon as we get into the spiritual life, enter into the spiritual world, there's no need of changing the body. We get the eternal body. So with that eternal body, we will chant more. The Kirtana performance, whatever we are doing, is also eternal. So now that after getting liberation, we will not stop there. Rather than that, we will chant more with more devotion and more ecstasy. So this is another aspect of the Mahatmas. So the Mahatmas, or their only life, so their only motto, their only desire is to chant the holy name of the Supreme Lord, the glories and his pastimes, or 24/7, and make the plans to make other people, the devotees and the fallen souls, to go back to Godhead. So this is one aspect of Mahatma. But Prabhupada explained in another sloka, like Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 7.6, there are another aspect of Mahatma. In 7.19, he will tell. In 7.16, Krishna explains like there are 4 kinds of persons who have got some piety in their background, in their life, and approach Krishna. So that is Chaturvidha bhajante mam jana sukrutuno arjuna artho ignasurarthardi jnani cha bharatarshabha. O best among the Bharatas, 4 kinds of men begin to render devotional service unto me: the distressed, the desirer of the wealth, the inquisitive, and he who is searching for the knowledge of the absolute truth. The desirer of the wealth, even though they're the desirer of the wealth, or distressed, or they wanted some knowledge, or searching for the knowledge of the absolute truth, still they approached Krishna because of their past piety. If there is no pious credits, we cannot even approach Krishna. In the 9th chapter, Avajananti mam mudaha, the mudas, the miscreants, they cannot even approach Krishna because of their impious deeds. But whereas these people, Artho, Arthati, Nasir, and Jnani, even though they wanted to get something from Krishna, but they approached Krishna. They approached as different, like the most whom to approach, they approached. Because they have approached, Krishna purifies them. So Artho means who are distressed, they are in pain. These distressed, till they are in pious distressed man. So they approach Krishna, ask them to relieve from the suffering of the temporary things. Those who are in want of money, artharti, they wanted money. So they will come to Krishna in search of money. And those who are inquisitive, like what is absolute truth? What is this transcendental knowledge? And these 4 classes begin after understanding what is God. They have heard there is God. At least they got to know that for our problems, we have to approach the God. And then they begin their research. The artha, they pray for the recovery from the distress. The man who is in want of money, he wants some money from the Supreme Lord. He pray, I'm in distress, I want some money. And the jnanis, after they get the knowledge, they wanted to know what is God. The jignasas, they wanted to inquire what is the science of Godhead. So out of these 4, not all the 4 devotees won't continue their devotional path, continue their worship of the Supreme Lord. So the one who are in distress and who wanted the material help, they will stop, they will cease their worship after the purpose is fulfilled. When this distress is over, they will, or they get some money, they just cease to worship the Supreme Lord. But the Jnanis, they are not stopping, they will continue. How long they will continue? They'll continue until they find where is the Supreme Lord. They will know that there is Supreme Lord. And they'll go on until to know about the Supreme Lord. So in 7.9 Bhagavad Gita, it is told where they will go. Bahunam janmanamante jnanaman mam prapadyate vasudeva sarvamiti samahatma sudurlabha. Mahatma, again, these Mahatmas are also rare, the Jnanis. After many, many births and deaths, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to the cause of all causes. And all that is such a great soul is very rare. Bahunam janmanam, after many, many births, these Jnanis, they will come to conclusion that there's no one else other than the Supreme Lord. Vasudeva Sarvamiti. Supreme Lord is everything. So this time, after many, they have to undergo so many births and deaths. But this transcendental process is so nice that if we finish like 50% in this life, we can begin from the 51% in the next life. Whatever we did in the past will not be lost. Whereas our material body, material acquisitions, everything will be finished with the loss of our body. But the spiritual acquisition will continue, will not be finished. So whatever we acquire, either 1%, 10%, 20%, or so on. So it is also stated in Bhagavad Gita, 2nd chapter, 40th verse. Neha bikramana shosti pratyavayo na vidyate swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Translation. In this endeavor, there is no loss or diminution, and a little advancement on this path can protect from the most dangerous type of fear. The most dangerous type of fear is the cycle of birth and death. So the one who understands the Supreme Lord is everything, and when he starts the devotional service, just as for like a fun also, they will be away from this most dangerous type of fear. But why to undergo so many lives? It's instead of leaving at the 50th percent, it's better if we do this as saint percent in this life. In that way, we don't even need for the next life. Because this process is very easy, that when we follow this, we need not even take another life to achieve the success. So this determination, like why to have undergone, like why to take so many births, why don't we do in this life? So this determination is there for the great souls, Mahatma devotees. So Jnanavan, the Jnanis are also the Mahatmas, because they're in the process of searching of the knowledge of the absolute truth. But they have to take many, many births. That is the difference between the Mahatmas described in 9.14 and the Mahatmas described in 7.19. In 9.14, which the great souls, which Krishna is describing, they will do the chanting Satatam with Dhridavrita, with determination. They always be obedient and offer their obeisances to the Supreme Lord. Whereas the Jnanis, in order to know that Krishna is everything, they will keep on searching the knowledge. In that process, they have to take many, many lives. They will not be able to gain the liberation in one life. Then after taking the many births, they will come to one point that Vasudevam Sarvamiti. When they understand that Vasudeva, Lord Krishna is everything, then they will start doing Kirtanam, and it will help them to go back to Godhead. So we say Mahatma's qualification is just always thinking, chanting about the Supreme Lord. Some Mahatmas are Durlabha. Those Mahatmas are very rare. So in this way, the Jnanis have to take many births to understand Krishna is the Supreme Lord, whereas the Mahatmas who glorify the Supreme Lord can reach the Supreme Lord in one life itself. So in order to make this Kirtana very successful, in order to reach the Supreme Lord, we have to follow the regulations, the 4 rules, the 4 regulative principles, approach the spiritual master, serve the Supreme Lord under his guidance. Then the process becomes very easy. So this process of approaching a spiritual master, serving the Supreme Lord, immediately makes one a Krishna conscious devotee. By with the association of the great souls, Mahatmas, who do Kirtana all the time, we will also do Kirtanam, Satatam Kirtayanto Mam. This process is very simple. We just follow the rules and regulations of the 4 regulative principles, serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead, so inquire from the spiritual master, the bona fide spiritual master, and then easily we can approach the Supreme Lord by Satatam Kirtayantam, Satatam Kirtana. This process is very simple, but there can be people who think that there will be a speculation. What is this? Just chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra can make one free from all the miseries. How can one reach the Supreme Personality of Godhead just by chanting the holy name? But that is not true. It is they think it is not good, but actually it is the highest method recommended by Lord Chaitanya and recommended by in Bhagavatam, the authoritative scriptures. In Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said that Kaler dosha nide rajan asti hekyo mahan gunan kirtanadeva krishnasya. So even though this Kali Yuga is not so good, but in this Kali Yuga, there's one good thing is we can reach the Supreme Lord by just chanting the holy name. The translation of this: my dear king, although Kali Yuga is a notion of false, there is still one good quality about this age. Simply by chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, one becomes free from the material bondage and be promoted to the transcendental kingdom. So, Kirtanadeva Krishnasya, it is clearly mentioned. Only by simply chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, Mukta Sangha, he becomes liberated and goes to the spiritual world. So, it is out of mercy the Lord has given God has given this Maha Mantra of this age, the Yuga Dharma. So if we take this simple process, because we cannot in this busy life, we cannot even do any other process very nicely other than chanting the holy name. We can execute this process very nicely in anywhere, in any circumstances. There's no condition, no rules or no regulations. Only thing is we have to engage our mind, body and soul in chanting the holy name. So in Padma Puranam, it is said that, my dear Narada, actually, I do not reside within the hearts of the yogis, but I reside in the glories of the holy name, that place where my devotees chant my holy name and discuss my form, pastimes, and qualities. So this gives us a hope that even though the yogis go to the forest and do their tapasya or something, there Krishna will not reside. Only he will reside in the place where the pure devotees chant the holy name. So this also says that this even though Hare Krishna Mahamantra chanting appears to be simple, but out of mercy, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave this Sankirtan movement. And this also stated in Bhagavatam, chapter 1, canto 1, chapter 1 and 14th verse. Living beings who are entangled in complicated meshes of birth and death can be freed immediately by even unconsciously chanting the holy name of Krishna, which is feared by the fear personified. The verse is Apannaha samshritam khoram yan nama vishwaso granam tata sadhyamumuchyeta yad bhibeti swayam bhayam. So Prabhupada says, simply chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, to free us from this material pangs of birth, death, and old age. Disease and old age. So the Mahatma devotees, the great souls, they chant the Kirtanam eternally, and with great determination. They won't stop with this life. Still, they will continue in the spiritual life with more ecstasy. So I conclude here saying that by taking the shelter of the Mahatma souls, the great devotees, spiritual masters, and doing service, we will also be engaged in this Kirtanam eternally and reach to the Supreme Lord. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you for the wonderful class. Devotees, please share your comments or reflections, or ask if you have any questions.
Hare Krishna, Rasamai Mataji. Very nice class. Thank you, Mataji. All the verses that you included were very, it helped connect kind of everything that Krishna is saying. Thank you, Mataji. Unmute, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Devotees, please unmute and ask if you have any questions. Okay, just I want to share my reflection, and thank you for mentioning that Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur is mentioned the book distribution as Sankirtan. Now I understood how the mridanga sound, drum sound can will be able to the sound can reach very limited distance, but how the BBT press printing books can reach far and wide of the continents. So that's the reason book distribution is also a Sankirtan. So that's a wonderful point. Thank you for mentioning that.
Thank you.
And one more point I got remembered on this context. People wants to perform bhakti when everything is proper. So, but I recently listened to a lecture by Gauranga Prabhu, performing bhakti in pain. What is that? This like when we are at the fag end of the life, we need to remember that is our final test. So that time, that is not easy time, because mucus is filled till the throat. We are in the severe pain. We are not able to recollect the Lord's name. So Prabhu mentioned that, Gauranga Prabhu. So we need to practice that bhakti in pain also. That is most important. So now onwards, we need to cover that questions also, to cover and score good marks in the final exam. So yeah, always we scare about the traffic jams if we want to go for service, or we want to see the convenience to our body. Though body is, we need not so much respect. So we should be healthy, but we should not give over comfort. Yeah, anyhow, it is going to deteriorate. Yeah, that's a wonderful point. How the service makes us satatam kirtayanto mam. So always satatam kirtayanto mam means 24 hours Hare Krishna chanting. People always confuse. Thanks for bringing to us, like any of the service we are thinking about Krishna would be like satatam kirtayanto mam. Hare Krishna devotees, any other questions or comments? Radha Damodar Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Radha Damodar Prabhu. Satyasara Prabhu. Prabhu, can we have a kirtan, short kirtan till the time we begin the arati?
Yes, yes, Prabhu. We can have a short kirtan.
Yes, Prabhu.
Sure. Okay. So
Yeah.
I'm going to arrange that one right now.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, सबसे पहले okay, back to you. We are ready to so Aarti.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
I think next is Lakshmipati.
Hare Krishna devotees, we have a today temple program is a hybrid model. You can visit to a temple and collect the fruit, take a darshan of lordships and take a fruit prasadam. Prabhu, we are doing Narsimarti next.
Doesn't work.
Yeah, Dhriti will do Narsimarti.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. It's audible.
Yeah.
Namaste Narashimaya, Namaste Narashimaya, Praladalahine, Praladalahine, Hiranyakashi Purvakshaha, Hiranyakashi Purvakshaha, Shila Tankana Kalaye, Shila Tankana Kalaye, Ito Nashimo Parato Nashimo, Ito Nashimo Parato Nashimo, Yato Yato Yamitato Nashimo, Yato Yato Yamitato Nashimo, Bahe Nashimo, Hridaya Nashimo, Bahe Nashimo, Hridaya Nashimo, Narashima Madem Sharanam Prapadim, Narashima Madem Sharanam Prapadim, Avakara Kamalavare Naka Avuta Shringa Dalita Hiranya Kashipu Tanuvenga Keshavadeta Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Vakara Kamala Adhuta Shringa
Dalita Hiranyakashipu Anubringam Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagatisha Hare Jaya Jagatisha Hare Jaya Jagatisha Hare Avakara Kamalavare Naka Aputa Shringam Talita Hiranyakashipu Tanuvringam Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare
Vakara Kamala Vare
Naka Abuta Shringa Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanubringa Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Nashimhadev Jaya Nashimhadev Jaya Nashimhadev Jaya Nashimhadev
Jaya Nashimhadev Jaya Nashimhadev Jaya Nashimhadev Jaya Nashimhadev
Jaya Prahlad Jaya Prahlad Jaya Prahlad Jaya Prahlad
Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada
Jaya Prabhupada
Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Gurudeva Jaya Gurudeva Jaya Gurudeva Nitya Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitya Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitya Gaura Hari Bol Jai
Prahlad Maharaj ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Gaur Brahmanande, Hari Hari Bol.
Thank you, Jishnu, for wonderful Kirtan, and thank you, Dhriti, for wonderful nursing Aarti. I request Radha Damodar Prabhu to announce